Wala na, click mo na. Okay, go to scene 2, go to scene 2. Go to scene, scene 3 pala, scene 3. Ayan, nag-start yung stream mo. Okay, after 15 minutes, mag-switch ka na sa scene 1. After 15 minutes, nag-ano ka na, live ka na. I see ya, live ka na. Mute mo yung mic mo sa OBS para di marinig. Ayan, ayan, after 15 minutes, move mo yung video, click mo yung scene 1, tapos once end mo yung video, end mo yung streaming. Okay siya? Gets? After that, i-send mo yung unlisted link ng video, tapos okay na, tapos tayo. Okay siya, gets ba? Once na-stop mo na yung stream, i-send mo sa amin yung yung YouTube link ng stream nito. Okay. Pero mag-leave na ako lang. Okay? Yes, yeah. Hello guys, this is Spencer here, together with Isaiah and Jerwin. Today we are
Hello
going to
guys,
discuss
this is Spencer
about gaming,
together with
especially
Isaiah
gaming
and
addiction.
Jerwin. Today we
Just a
are
little
going to
introduction about
discuss
ourselves.
about
We are Group
gaming
1
together
in
with
A07
Isaiah
and
and addiction.
S21. We are grade 10
Jerwin.
students and we
Today
try
we
our
are
best
going
to
to
about
discuss
ourselves,
about
share
we are
awareness
Group 1
about gaming addiction, starting with this podcast. So, before we start, we would like to share about what is gaming addiction. Well, I would like to start myself. For my
especially
from my
addiction.
experience about gaming
Gaming addiction.
and its addiction
Well, I would
behind
like
it,
to start
it's
myself.
basically like
Especially
playing
experience
over
about
time
gaming
because
addiction.
gaming
Addiction.
is addictive, especially because it's fun
Well, I
doing
would
it
like to
and that
experience about
is
gaming
very time
and
consuming.
well, I would
Playing.
like to start
How
myself.
about you guys?
Especially
From my experience about gaming
gaming addiction.
and its addiction
Well, I would
behind
like
it,
to start
it's
myself.
basically like
Especially
playing
experience
over time.
start. Well, I would like to start
It's
myself.
basically like
I want to add a little bit information on gaming addiction. For me, gaming addiction is like focusing on games, spending more time on games. It's like you're losing interest to other habits. That's it. You're losing interest to
so.
other
I guess you could
habits.
say that gaming addiction,
That's
that
it.
gaming is really addictive.
You're losing interest to
Before
other
I
habits.
let's say a better example about this, what games tend to be addictive? Do you, what games do you guys normally play? For me, I play Roblox, Minecraft, those normal games online. Especially games that are pretty interactive in multiplayer because rather than offline, multiplayer online has like more features and real life time. So I tend to play more there. And sometimes I adjust more time
Gaming
to
addiction
playing
to
games,
play more there.
especially when I'm playing in Roblox.
And
Then,
sometimes
rather than let's say
I
I just
adjust
in
more time
work and
gaming
school.
addiction.
But it's just sometimes. How do you guys manage on about the gaming you play? I would also say that gaming addiction isn't just like a bad habit of
I would also say
focusing
that
on time playing games
gaming
rather than
addiction
doing other
isn't
work.
just
It
like
is
a
also known as a gaming
isn't just like
disorder
a bad habit
because
of
focusing
focusing
on
on
our
time
group, our
playing games.
research, we
Gaming
have been known
addiction
that
isn't just like
because of
a also
gaming
known as a
addiction,
gaming isn't just like a bad habit of
I don't know if a lot,
focusing
but
on
on our
time
group,
playing
around
games.
like most we
Gaming
have been known
addiction
that
is
tend to fail class or most likely barely passing of the class because of those games. and especially since it's a real world problem, because a lot of people, you know, a lot of students affected is it is really a problem that our community need to solve, because we don't want a future generation of students who have lack of requirements to, let's say, job. So I guess at least we did this, we explained what is gaming addiction and about, let's say, its effects to people around it. What do you guys think its causes? So you're trying to say is that at a time in this generation, technology is now more common. So the early generations that hasn't, that accessible to gaming yet, hasn't that much struggled on the gaming addiction. But since technology is so available, and since lots of games tend to be now available in online, not, of course, there are also physical games like toys. Early generations have more access to games, and that technically means that they are more tempted to play more. Am I right? Yeah. Well, to be honest, oh, sorry. Continue. I I could say that you're right. Yeah. I would also like to add that for those who don't know what is dopamine, guys, I did a bit of research, and dopamine is like the drive. It's like something that when you do something you like, that the brain triggers that sensation feeling, most likely happiness or pleasure. Example, when you're playing a game and you won, there, the dopamine is is like enzyme or something. I don't know exactly, but it's in our brain and it makes us happy. And since that dopamine makes yeah, makes our pleasure and makes us happy and our pleasure, our brain remembers that, and it makes us want to do more of it. And people with high dopamine, especially in playing games, those are the most times that they have struggle preventing playing, because they see games as addictive. Yes, you're right. How about you, Jerwin? What do you think are some of the causes in gaming addiction?
I think the game is built for multiplayer, so they want to play as a friend, as a that's why they getting addicted to it. So guys, let me ask this question. Let me ask you a question. How do we prevent the spreading of gaming addiction? Okay, let me start to myself. I think take a break schedule, regular breaks during gaming session to prevent burnout and fatigue. This can help maintain a healthy balance between gaming and other activities.
Okay. So I guess that due to the addictiveness of the game, you say that's one of its prevention. Well, I would before I would like to share my of the way I could prevent on game addiction. I'll just also share just one cause so that it will help with the prevention. One of the researchers that our group made on game addiction is that one of the researchers is people who are bored or stressed, tired, depressed. We're not sure exactly 100%, but on our surveys, it's like most of the time they tend to play games to relieve them. Well, since we talked earlier on about what's of the cause of game addiction, that when people are well, not exactly bad. That when people are bored, they play games. It's not really bad. Especially, it could be a good like stress reliever or something that to not be stressed on school or work. But if it tends to be reliable to to really relieve the stress or the work when say we are tired, that is now one of the symptoms of game addiction. Because, like one of I said that one of the symptoms of game addiction is that of relying on work. Now, the prevention of this, well, this one for me is to focus on other activities because we have discussed earlier about how dopamine works in our body. So, if we make a different perspective, let's say instead of playing, let's say do other activities. I don't know what to other activities could be like reading or study more, but something that is not gaming. Because if our brain forgets about the sensation in playing, that removes the drive of students playing games. So, one of the prevention, one of the tips I could share for prevention of gaming addiction is that instead of playing, let's do something else. I meant you could play some, let's say outside, if you guys still play outside, or like sport, or probably like rest or just cook or something. Anyways, just not play games after let's say in a study or work or something, because if it becomes a habit, that will become addictive. If you guys have more ways to prevent gaming addiction. Uh, it's like like oh wait, yeah, you're right. Because if there is like no other way, then I could share another one. Let's see. So other than doing other activities, there is also what do you call it? Temptation. Because remember, we're talking about addiction. It's a very serious topic that is not to be just underlie. Just not just to be like to be remembered and like that's it. It is very addictive, and that temptation is really one of the key factors people play why students still play games. So other than doing the activities, because we're in the age of where technology is available and is very easily accessible, so students could play games easily. One of the ways that for me to prevent gaming addiction is to not access the games, like limiting myself from playing like my like what my parents do when I started to be addictive is that they shut down the games or anything that could distract me from learning. It could even be videos, let's say, if about like gaming topic or something. Because our dopamine is really it's a really strong pleasure. It's something that like not all people can control. So if possible, I mean it's not like we can't limit everything because we can't control about like what everybody does, because one way or another they're doing things like that. One of other than limiting ourselves from playing the games, like shutting down, I like installing games temporarily, or or uninstalling apps that could, you know, be part of the games. One for me is also self control, because for the first place, if we control ourselves from not playing games, we don't have to worry about, let's say, limiting our access, because technically games playing games is not bad. I mean, do you guys agree, right? It's not bad. So if we could just limit ourselves from playing games to like a short periods of time, we could still enjoy the game, like having a dopamine pleasure, while also not being addictive, which makes sense. So we have two ways to prevent, which is do other activity. I wait, sure now. Do other activities, limiting access to games, and self control. I'm pretty sure there are more. Do you guys have do you guys have to share more ways? Yeah, limiting access. So what you're trying to say, from my understanding, is setting a schedule. Am I right? Okay. So we have four now. I'm gonna just reiterate again. We have self control, we have limiting access, setting a schedule, and doing other activities to make more accessible for, to be more easily. I have made a video. It is really bad and it's really poor, well made. But I think this video is, you know, at least it explains some of the ways. Might not be that accurate, but at least it helpfully remembers ways to prevent gaming addiction. Is it okay if I share my screen to you guys, the video? Oh, by the way, this video is outdated, so we were supposed to plan this in the first stream, but it has an error, so they're gonna send this now. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, hold on, let me just. Okay, there we go. Do you guys see my screen? Oh, okay, so here is the video. Hold on, let me just rotate my screen. There you go. Okay. Mind you, this is a old video, so it's like really bad. But it's at least it's a helpful way to easily remember the ways to prevent gaming addiction. That is clear. I'm sorry, it's like that. It's talking to this man. And then it's full word. It's only me. I just like to not how do you helpful Oh, okay. It's my audio clear now.
Not yet.
Maybe I said okay. Is my audio clear now? Is my audio clear?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So, okay. Sorry for the problems, but anyway, the video, I know it's pretty bad, but I think it explains like most of what I said, most what you are said about the prevention of being addicted. I think we forgot one thing to say, which is doing the doing the important thing first before playing. Because of course, when we do our things, when we do the work now, the remaining time we do to play games, so our time will be more adjustable. Because the frustration is not an excuse for I don't know, less or work not getting done, right? So yeah, but I think the important thing is if the person is willing to change, to at least they try to get a proper meaning and do not be addicted. So it will be possible to get a thing. So a bit of summary, for me, being addiction is a disorder that a lot of people affect because it is a worldwide problem that affects students worldwide and that the people are affected by it. So the process they are easily accessible, they are addictive, and that they bring to be silent and physical commodity. They also lack of self-control and also experience the process because of it. And because of how we structure themselves in this term. Due to this with self-control, controlling uncertainty, limiting access to abilities, physical device, but possible, place with scheduling, which is schedule how many minutes you do the game, fourth is doing the thing, doing the important things first before playing, and lastly is, what's the last part I didn't mention there? Okay, so the creators hear me clearly. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, you guys are hearing me? Ah, okay, do you guys hear me now? Okay, so since we discussed the prevention of being addiction, to conclude, we will explain the precedent and how to prevent it. First is limiting access on playing games, which is a bit hard. And second is self-control, which is required from playing games to be more easy to adjust time. Third is do the important things first before play. It's also adjust time or flexible. Fourth is doing the activity, doing other activities before playing games so that our dopamine is more building, but will possibly like get the sensation of playing games. And fifth is scheduling time on playing games so that you can limit on how many minutes you are playing. So is it clear? Is it clear? Guys, is it clear? Hello? Is it clear? Okay. So, you guys, do you guys have any closing remarks? Do you guys have any closing remarks before we end the stream?
None for me.
Okay, Jerwin, do you have anything to say?
None for me.
Okay, so that concludes our podcast on gaming addiction. You also have our section screen for Q&A. If you guys were in time on the screen, you could just ask the questions in the comments so that we can answer it. And that is all. So just thank you for watching our stream, and we might possibly see you in the next stream. Bye, guys.
Thank you for watching.
Ah, there's my phone. Okay, I opened camera just to to get the message here. So, bye.